Okay, great. And then now let's just share that back again. Okay, cool. So it's good to be with you. When am I beginning? Okay. Okay, so let's just get started. So we're starting to see stuff come in the chat, so that's fantastic. Okay, so it's good to be with you today, and we're going to be exploring something that many Christian leaders face, but few openly kind of admit, and that's loneliness in leadership. So even when we're surrounded by people, whether that's team, family, or church members, sometimes it's something still feels missing. There's that kind of tension between faith and leadership that can really bring a kind of a heavy silence. And unfortunately, that loneliness can actually drain you of clarity and your courage and kind of impact on the level of peace that you feel. And by the end of our time together, my hope is that you're going to walk away with a greater awareness of where isolation may be affecting your leadership, some practical steps to move from isolation to connection, and a renewed sense of community as an essential part of spiritual and professional health. Okay, so let's just see what we've kind of got. So working with the owner of the business. Okay, okay. So I've left us what other opportunities. Okay, so wow, so that's a real loneliness stuff in terms of, yeah, that's horrible. I completely get that. But hoping that we actually have an antidote to that, because I think that's definitely needed. And when I've had a very difficult case, and they took my personal and often to somebody else, I was so frustrated. Oh my goodness. Wow. And then I had to go and ask, other people to take time to try. So yeah, just those times when you actually need support and the support's not there to get it, that's definitely one of those times. So I don't know about you, and I'm guessing it's probably going to be the same, but my business life often moves in cycles. Okay, so those times when I'm really focused, I've got all the resources and all the people around me that I need just to get on with the mission. And then other times, it's when I really just need someone to bounce some ideas off, to kind of get some perspective, particularly if I'm bogged down, or just, support or to pray with me through the fog of uncertainty. And it's in those moments that the weight of leadership really feels kind of most real. And it's also the time when isolation feels even more so. So that's kind of what that kind of seems like for me. But as we get started, I just want you to kind of share that our mission is to create a welcoming space where leaders are empowered to align their faith, their values, and ethics with their leadership. And through this alignment, we help leaders to increase their impact, because it's all about impact, but to do that authentically and to achieve business success with integrity right across every sphere of influence. So that's whatever industry that you're in, on whatever level in the hierarchy of management or leadership that you hold. That's where we're looking to be able to help that. So today, these are some of the things that we're going to be looking into, defining isolation in leadership. So recognizing the signs. And we're going to share a story or testimonial examples of transformation through community. I'm going to share some practical tools for finding or forming trusted peer groups or communities that are rooted in faith. I'm going to take you through a few interactive activities just to help you to reflect. And then obviously there's a call to action. So your invitation to a business reset session and our membership. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm a kind of ethical leadership development coach. And as it says, I'm dedicated to helping faith-driven leaders align their talents, their values, and importantly, their spiritual gifts in their business. And my mission is just to inspire positive change, build those ethical leadership practices, and empower purpose-driven individuals to leave a lasting legacy. I just think that is so important. So that's kind of me. No problem. As we go through, please, any thoughts that you have, any questions, just drop them in the chat. I will always keep looking at this. I'll always keep looking at the chat. So anything you want to raise, please feel free to put that in there. That'd be great. Okay, so let's talk about what isolation in leadership often feels like. So let's face it, many leaders feel isolated even when they're surrounded by others for many reasons. And we've already shared some of those reasons. When your back's against the wall, where you need that support, and particularly in those difficult situations, and that support's not there, there are definitely times where you feel isolated. So they're very real. So there are a number of reasons, but I've just got a few of them that I want to share. So reason number one is often, when those decisions feel heavy because you feel like you've got to carry them alone because, there's nobody there who kind of truly understands you, understands what you're going through, or even understands the situations. And you're not alone in that, okay? So you're not the only one who feels like that. There were studies by Vistage that showed that oh, by the way, I love statistics. I love to throw statistics to make a point. So you're going to see those throughout. But there was a study by Vistage that shows that 50% of CEOs admit that loneliness is real for them. And more than 60% believe that loneliness actually hurts how they lead. Okay, so reason number two, and I do a lot around feedback, but feedback can often feel filtered or cautious a lot of the time, particularly if you're kind of senior at the top of your organization and there's a structure or management structure between you and the bottom line, then there is definitely that filtering that goes on. And many leaders report that less in-person feedback, so just not seeing people face to face in the same way, and more remote working actually adds to this demise. So even though, and a Guardian report noted that UK managers find that workplaces are lonelier now in hybrid work setups, even though that flexibility has increased. So sometimes we kind of get a sense that, oh, do you know what I mean? It's all great, but that's what the research is suggesting. And a survey of more than 1,000 line managers by the Chartered Management Institute indicates that 52% of those who took part in the research said that the prevalence of working from home means that workplaces have become even more lonely. So I don't know if you've got thoughts about that, whether you think that makes sense, just emojis, some thumbs up if like, yeah, I've experienced that, or yeah, I get a sense that is what's going on. Definitely. Okay, gosh, that's the stark reality. There's some days I might not even speak or see anybody apart from me and my laptop who got thumbs up there, definitely. Okay, reason number three, pressure to conform. So whether it's to conform to business practice that you don't really want to be doing, or pressure to conform and to kind of make those targets, they seem to add to feelings of isolation. And some new research from the Rotterdam School of Management, they found that leaders, so that's all of us, seem to be vulnerable to experiences of loneliness. So again, that's something to think about as we step up and as we do leadership. Now, the thing is, okay, so I now work from home, but in a great role in speaking to people throughout the day. Okay, so the CPD certification service. So that's again one way to do that. I'm going to add that in now. I'm going to steal that one from you, Rachel. I'm going to add that one in terms of when we look at other things you can do, you can work in that way. But you'll see how I'll weave that in a minute. Okay, so you may show up composed in public, but inside that tension between faith, calling, and marketplace expectation over time definitely wears you down. So in another Europe-wide leadership survey, nearly 2/3 of leaders said that they feel lonely right now in their role. So I just think, and again, of 100 leadership, I think, and managerial people, 97% reported feeling lonely as a leader at some point. 63.5% said in their current role. So that was that detail of that. And then finally, reason number four is there's faith-based charities and other groups see loneliness as a priority issue. So loneliness isn't just a non-profit or a church issue, it's a leadership issue. So according to Right Up Your Street, that their report, and by Faith Action, 82% of faith-based organisations in the UK said that loneliness and social isolation was the key issue in their community work and a top concern for the people that they serve. So this is like really out there, really out there. That's not a problem at all. That's great. And whatever you don't get, you can jump in and get that on the replay. It's just good to have you. So thank you. So here's the thing. When feedback feels filtered, when decisions feel heavy, or when the kind of tension of faith, calling, and marketplace wears you down, you really are not alone in that challenge. So sometimes just knowing that there are others helps, okay? But here's the other thing, is that isolation, it doesn't just hurt emotionally. So we don't just feel it on the inside. It actually does dull our clarity. It shakes our courage and it erodes our vision. But in spite of that, or even with that, the Bible in Deuteronomy 31:6 encourages us to be strong and courageous. For it is the Lord your God who goes with you. He will never fail you and he'll never abandon you. So even in those moments, sometimes we just need to just think, if I haven't got somebody else, there's always a word of scripture. Do you know what I mean? The Lord is talking to me in those situations. So that's something to think about. Okay, so I want to share a story. So you need to listen and you might want to write notes and things down. But I want to share a story from somebody who joined our Faith Inspired Leadership Lab community. And this is what one member, Ursula, said about our membership. She said, "This program goes beyond business. It transforms you as a person. The faith-driven accountability, honest conversations, and shared wisdom helped me to implement lasting change." Now, what it looked like for her was moving from leadership that felt isolating into one where she felt truly seen. She started sharing her burdens that she'd carried alone for such a long time. She got encouragement that was specific and grounded in faith and reality. And over time, the vision for for the future of her business actually sharpened. Her faith became something that she weaved naturally into her work, into her meetings, decisions, priorities, and she gained the courage from other people to make some hard choices. And she also learned to set healthy boundaries and moved herself from surviving to leading with confidence. So that was somebody's experience. So my question then, just out of curiosity, because I'm like that, is what stands out most for you from her experience? What stands out most for you from her experience? So just drop, if anything, okay, oh, it was that, the fact that she changed how she led, the fact she had someone to talk to, but what stands out most for you from her experience? If you drop your ideas in the chat, and then I have another question for you. Okay, being able to be yourself and confident in your approach, definitely, because I think that helps, that makes any situation seem better when you complete authentically you and show up in that way, not having to leave her faith out of her leadership. Definitely, so finding a way to combine that again so you feel authentically you, and sharing her faith in her work as a natural extension of herself. So it's not something that was hidden. There's this thing that I often talk about, compartmentalization, and she found a way not to have to do that, but to be fully her. So fantastic. And also another quick question then. Imagine the fact that she found a group that was supportive and positive and not feeling threatened by her natural abilities. I think that's also another big thing. I think it happens in business. I think it happens, unfortunately, in faith circles as well, that, when we see other people operating or doing what they're doing, then there are times when that kind of envy stuff just does kind of throw itself up. And, and that comes from people's own insecurities, but it's something that we have to deal with. So definitely. Okay, so here's the imagination, if you had a community around you like that, what would you hope to gain in your context? So thinking about yourself and where you do leadership, if you had a community like that, what would you hope to gain? What would you hope to gain? I'm liking it that you're interacting and liking each other's posts as well. So this is good. So this feels community anyway, even though we're not talking yet. Okay, so, if you had a community around you like that, oh, my light's just gone. If you had a community around you like that, what would you hope to gain in your context? So again, just please share your thoughts in the chat if something like that would help you. So that'd be fine. I'm just aware of time. So insight and objectivity, as well as faith-based approach to find the solutions. Yeah, I love that. So it's kind of like knowing that you can come to somebody that they're going to give you some insight either from their own experiences or there's some objectivity because this is the problem. And I think when you're addressing a group, you're more likely to kind of go, actually, this is what the thing is, not necessarily all the stuff that goes behind it. I need help with this. So it helps you with clarity, but also to be able to know that there's a faith-based approach to find a solution. So it's going to sit with your integrity. Honest feedback, unconditional support. So yeah, people want to be there and they're choosing to support you and constructively. So yeah, we're all in it together. So no, definitely we love that. Okay, fantastic. Let me work right here. Okay, here. So let's just move on to then confidence. Okay, bringing everybody's experiences together. Yeah, I mean, and this for me is what it definitely is all about. Okay. So let's move on how community, so a bit more about how it actually stops isolation and how it helps you to actually build resilience, because that's what we need for the long haul. So here are some of the things that I've actually seen happen to people when they join the lab or if they're a member of another values aligned community. So other communities do this too. First of all, you actually stop feeling stuck in uncertainty because you've actually got others who get what it feels like. Leaders who know that faith and responsibility don't always come with easy answers. So you know that they know that you know. You stop feeling like, or stop even trying to try and do it all alone. Your humility becomes a strength, not something to hide. You start to lead out of faith and not pressure. And the hidden strength, the hidden stress of all of that actually begins to lift. See, the truth is that when you talk about what's really going on for you, you don't carry the weight by yourself anymore. That's what happens. Recovery from setbacks get easier. And because when it's in your head and you're hiding it and you're going with it on your own, it feels worse in your head. But when you talk it out, you actually get perspective about it. You actually get a way forward. So recovery from setbacks get easier. Faith stops being, and this is an important one for me, stops being something that you switch on a Saturday or Sunday and then off again on a Monday. But it becomes part of every decision, every meeting, and every part of who you are as a leader. I want to make it just a little bit practical, so we're just going to go into your own space for a moment. I often say that there are 3 things that every faith-driven leader needs from their support system, and I call them the 3 C's of community. So number 1, we need clarity. So when you're connected to people who share your faith and values, you see things more clearly. You don't just feel like you're figuring out everything on your own, and you're able to gain that insight and godly perspective. So right now, ask yourself this question. Do the people around me help me to think clearly, think spiritually, and think strategically about my leadership? Do the people around me help me to think clearly, spiritually, and strategically about my leadership? Do they? So that's something you might want to think about and jot down. Do they? Okay. See everybody's down with their notepads, which is great. Okay. Question number 2. So not question number 2. Area number 2 of what you need of the 3 C's is courage. So it's easier to step out boldly when you're not the only one holding the line. So the right kind of encouragement reminds you who you are and whose you are. So ask yourself this question. Does my community help me to act with conviction even when it's tough? Does it? Does my community help me to act with conviction even when it's tough? And that's something to think about. And then the final C is number 3, connection. So this is about real relationship, not surface level support. But people that you could be honest with, who'll pray with you, who'll challenge you, and who'll celebrate with you. So ask yourself this question: who knows the real challenges that I'm facing right now? And where am I craving deeper connection? So who knows the real challenges and how it feels with the things that I'm facing right now? And where am I craving that deeper connection? Okay, and then very quickly before Judas has to go, okay, very, very quickly, so you get this part. So take a moment just to again jot these down. So put down the words clarity, courage, and connection. So you've got those 3 down. And then give yourself a quick score out of 5 for each one. So 1 means like not really got that clarity, that courage or connection. And 5, definitely 100% on there, I've got it. Okay, so clarity, courage, and connection, and score yourself out of 5. And then just feel free just to drop your how you fared in the chat. So clarity, courage, and connection, how did you fare? And I guess the main thing I'm trying to get at the share is, where are you strong? Yeah, so clarity, courage, connection. How did you score yourself on a scale of 1 to 5? And where are you strong? Strong in clarity, courage, or connection? That's something to think about. And then where might God be nudging you to build or invest in a deeper community? So they're the things just to think about for yourself. Okay, cool. Okay, everybody's looking a bit reflective. I have not hurt your brains too much. But anyway, so this is where we're going to add Rachel's in here, right? Okay. So what have we got? 2, 4, 2. Okay. 1, 2, 1. I'm currently thinking about where I work. Okay, so that's there. Yeah. That's kind of, it's sad, but it's a reality. Do you know what I mean? It's sad, but it's a reality. And, there is something that can be done. So we're just going to talk about, where you can, if you're, okay, Rachel's got it going on. So that's fantastic in terms of clarity, bit of courage and connection. But that's really, really strong. So maybe the bit that you do is a bit we need to learn. Okay, so here we go. We're going to drop this one in. So this, you're ready to move from isolation towards connection. Here are some safe faith-rooted spaces that you can step into. So I'm going to go with Rachel's first. Okay. So what did you say? Working in that way. I'm going to have to go back up now because So actually, the role that you do, to involve ways of kind of speaking with people throughout your day. So that's something you can do. Is kind of, in my role, how can I put some parts of my day where I am speaking to, engaging with positive people, because that's going to help me. Or even if I'm engaged with people where I can help, that also helps me too. So I'm going to put that one in there. It's kind of, and where it's safe, I guess, is because you're choosing how you engage with those people, or parts of the day that you do that. But some other ways you could do it would be to have like a peer cohort or peer circles. So this is where you have small trusted groups that meet regularly and to share honestly and to grow together. So that's one way. Or there's mentorship. So thank you, mentorship with faith-aligned leaders. So just someone who's walked the path and understands the real tension between faith, leadership, and responsibilities, and therefore can share experience and support. There's value-based membership communities like the Faith Inspired Lab, where encouragement, wisdom, and faith are not sidelined. And then there's the opportunity to have accountability partners. So one person who sees your heart, understands your burdens, and actually holds you gently, or not so gently if you need a bit of a push, to actually stay in truth. So there are those things that you can do. And I guess if you don't have a space like this, then I always say, don't wait to start. Sometimes all it takes is one small step, reaching out to someone, exploring a new group, or even beginning to gather the people around you where you're at. So just a little bit about the lab, just so you know what we do and what it looks like inside. So you will have access to a powerful resource library. So I've spent ages putting all this stuff together. So you'll get access to 3 months of past live sessions, so they're like a rolling thing. There's a rich toolbox of templates, ebooks, leadership guides. And also there's like 2 5-day devotion series every month. So you get 5 days and you get a week to think about it, and you get another 5 days, and that happens every month throughout the year. And they're designed to equip you and ground you in faith-driven leadership. You'll be part of or can access, a kingdom-based community for support. So you'll be surrounded by peers who get it, leaders walking out their calling with integrity, accountability, and faith. So it's a space where you actually get to feel seen, sharpened, and spiritually aligned. We have a live group coaching session every month. So that's where we get members to share real wins. They wrestle with real world challenges and discuss the ethical tensions that we all face in business. It's a real opportunity just to come in and be heard and share and learn from others. There are options, so you can choose a level of support that fits you. So there's a standard membership, £97 a month, which includes all the live sessions, devotionals, toolbox access, and community support. Or there's a premium membership of £397 that includes everything else, plus you'll have monthly one-to-one coach mentoring sessions. You'll have access to personalised development pathways and a deeper leadership transformation. So there we have it, a practical, flexible, spirit-led space, so you don't have to figure out on your own. The lab is designed to give you tools, clarity, and support. That's what it is. So you can lead with confidence, but more importantly, not in isolation. Okay, so now just looking at the time. Okay, so we're just going to pause for a quick moment to reflect again. So this is just everything we've kind of heard. Where do you feel? So these are some questions. So where do you feel most alone right now? I think we've looked at some of this, but where do you feel most alone right now? Is it mainly at home? 1. Is it 2 at work? Is it 3 on your leadership or on your faith journey, or any combination? So I'll put 1 in the chat if it's loneliness at home, 2 if it's loneliness at work, 3 if it's loneliness in my faith journey, or any combination of the 3. And so it's just, where are you in this particular season? So just drop 1, 2, or 3 in the chat, or a combination, then that would be good. So where do you feel most alone? So we've had, on the whole, in terms of clarity, courage, and connection, I know where I am. But if I'm thinking about where do I feel most alone, is it at home, work, or in my faith journey? So or any combination. So you can just put those in. Okay, no problem. Combination of home and work. And so that's a large chunk of your life to be in that. But okay, so there's things that we can do about that. So it's just good to know. It's just good to know. Thanks, Tricia. It's just good to know where you're at, and then to think, okay, of the things that we're going to share just before we leave now, because we're getting ready to come down, where are the ones that I can put in place that's going to support me where I'm at? So number 2 then, we're thinking of the 4 spaces that we've mentioned, or 5 if we put Rachel's in there, of those spaces. So that's the kind of putting time in your diary to connect with people, peer cohorts, mentorship, membership communities, or having an accountability partner. What kind of support or community would feel the most meaningful for you? So it's which of those would be the most meaningful for you. Having putting time in your diary to do some of those things, peer group, mentorship, membership communities, or accountability. Thank you, it's cool. So just drop in there as you think about it, what could work for you. And then there's one little piece that I want to then get you to think about. Okay, so what Of those 4 or 5 spaces, what would work for you? If there's any that would work for you better. And then the last question, who is membership communities? Okay. Then the last thing would be, who is one person or group, it doesn't matter who or what, that you could reach out to this week? One group or person that you could reach out to, and that could go on your paper. So you might think, actually, I want to have more people around me. Actually, I'd like to set my own little group up. So it's just, who could you reach out to in the next week? So, and if you feel comfortable, you can share them in a chat. And if not, it's fine. But I just want you to be able to think about, who could I reach out to? And because what I want to do is I want to encourage you then to really put some action in place. So if you pick one of those areas or one of those that you've identified and make a move. So whether it's sending an email, making a call, scheduling a chat with somebody this week, somebody you feel could actually be part of your close network. So before we finish today, which we are coming down, I'd just like you to decide when and with whom you're going to take some action. So whether it's, I'm going to email somebody, I'm going to make a call, I'm going to schedule a chat so I'm not isolated. No, you're such a cat with it. Okay, we can talk about that. That's all fine. You've got the Pekka group as well. Anyway, I'm also going to be, to help, I'm going to be sending out a reflection worksheet from the session. So that will help you to capture your learning to stay accountable. So the worksheet is going to help you to stay on track with what you're feeling, what you need, and any connections that you're building or hoping to build. So that will come out to you pretty soon. Okay, so then just finally then, final little bit then, is some simple practices that can help you reduce isolation that you can do right now, okay? And also help you to build meaningful, faith-rooted connections. Okay, so you can schedule a weekly check-in with somebody that you trust, whether that's 15 to 30 minutes, and you get to share both wins and burdens, because I think a little bit of consistency goes a long way to combating loneliness. So I told you how I felt a lot of the time. But what I did is I've started having a buddy conversation. So I've now got a buddy that we, for the last, I think, 5-6 months, and we meet for an hour and a half once a week on a Friday, on a Monday at 4:30. And that's been really helpful. So think about that. Maybe form a small peer group or leadership circle. So you just need 3 or 4 people that you can meet regularly, whether that's virtually or in person, for encouragement, prayer, and real talk. So you can set that up with people that you want to be connected with. You can anchor yourself in scripture, and that goes whenever you're feeling, when you feel unseen or you feel alone. So verses like Deuteronomy 31:6, Isaiah 41:10, or Psalms 23:4. They can remind you that you're really never really alone. So, be strong and courageous, do not fear anything, for I'm with you. Or even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. So these are some things that you can just tap into when you need them. And then finally, journal honestly. So do some journaling once a week and really think to yourself, what am I carrying by myself right now? Who could help to carry it with me? And what support do I feel that I need now or in the next week? So actually get yourself to think about those things. And finally, it's good to remember that 2 are better than 1. The Bible tells us if either of them falls, one would lift them up his companion. And at the end, it talks about that threefold cord is not easily broken. So we're not supposed to do it on our own. So let's find a way that you can get that support. So, as we close, then, if today has stirred something in you, if you're tired of leading leadership alone or carrying leadership alone and longing for that clarity you've got, courage a bit more, connection, then here's how you can move forward. So why not book a business faith reset session with me? It's a free complimentary session, and we'll just map out where you are, identify what's missing, and plan your next steps towards real support. And or, explore the Leadership Lab membership group. It's a safe, values-aligned community where you're not supposed to do things on your own. Okay, so please, it's a place to grow together, share together, and be stronger together. And to sweeten the deal, okay, anybody who books in my diary the next 12 days, next 7 days, will receive a £30 discount on the first 3 months of the membership lab, if that's the right fit for you. So what I just want to ask you as we're closing now is, and there's the QR code there to book into my diary to have that session, and also you can check out the membership group. That's the kind of the homepage for that. So I just want to ask you, so who are you going to commit to one action this week? So what's the one action that you want to commit to this week? So it might be sending a message, join the lab, or booking the reset session. But I just want you to, who is the person you're going to talk to? Just make a decision to do something. That would be really, really good. And so that's kind of where we're at. So don't forget, book in my diary, do that by next Friday, and you secure that early bird discount. So as we close, I just want you to remember a few things. You're not alone. Your leadership matters. Your calling, wherever you've been called to, wherever you're operating, is valid. And God is with you, not just when you feel strong, but in the silence, in the questions, and in the weight of leadership. You don't need a crowd to feel supported. Even one values-led, aligned, or values-aligned relationship can turn isolation into clarity, courage, and connection. So as we get out today, please take a moment just to share one insight or takeaway from today in the chat, or reply to the follow-up email if you're listening in on the replay. And I think this is important because your words might encourage somebody else to speak up. So whatever you found, please just drop that in a chat or drop me a message so we can share what you get, what other people can receive. And don't forget, you're going to get your reflection worksheet in your inbox shortly. So use it to reflect, plan, and act this week. Mini group is my family, spending quality time each day. I've been chatting with them. Oh, that's lovely. That is really lovely. And so maybe that's something people can think about. So if people don't have, really close families, that you don't have that, then I would say, build your family that you've got, you can't change, but you can always build another family around you. So that whole idea of having a group of people to openly chat to ask about your day and support around you is really important. So that's a model that we can definitely use. Thank you. That's brilliant. It's really good to have you. So thank you for being part of today. I hope it's done something meaningful for you. And don't forget to note down what you will apply from the learning today. Feel free to drop any final in the chat or reach out to me directly. I always love to hear how these sessions are impacting your leadership journey. Look out for if you're looking for a membership group, then please just check out the membership to see if it's something that would fit for you. So just drop a yes if you're interested, or actually just direct message me and I'll let you know what we can do. Finding my scripture strengthens me, and prayer also helps. So those are great things, but I also think it's good to be connecting with other people as well. So they're definitely things that will keep you. So that's definitely good. So we're going to close down now, but I'm going to stay on for a few minutes for any final questions or comments. But until next time, I just want to say, lead with integrity, stay rooted in your values, and remember, God does see you and you don't have to do it alone. So stay blessed, okay? So I'm just going to switch off the recording. No, that's fantastic. I'm just going to switch off the recording.